The sun is already bruising the sky purple when Elijah Brooks loads his truck with the last of the feed bags. Dust curls behind the tires as he pulls away from his modest ranch, the kind built on sweat, prayers, and too many late notices from the bank. His hands are rough from work, nails bitten down, boots cracked. The land don't yield easy out here in Jasper County. Not for a black man with a stubborn jaw and no patience for smiling when folks look through you. Elijah isn't out to make trouble. Never has been. He minds his business, pays his debts, and keeps to himself. The ranch has been in his family for 3 generations, passed down with stories and scars, though there's not much left but a few cattle, a rusted fence line, and a soul-deep grit that won't let him walk away. The plan today is simple. Drive up to old Randall Huxley's spread, check out a bay mare advertised for cheap. Elijah doesn't trust Huxley, no one decent does, but the price is low and desperation has a funny way of quieting instincts. As he drives, the land stretches out, wide and dry, dotted with crooked oaks and sagging barns. Signs of drought wear heavy on the fields. And still, every mailbox he passes makes his knuckles tighten. Confederate flags wave from porches, like they're part of the landscape. The deeper he drives, the whiter the world becomes. He rolls down the window. Heat pours in, thick as syrup. His radio hums static. Elijah squints ahead, there it is. Huxley Ranch. Bigger than most, still clinging to old money and older hate. The main house stands proud, all columns and peeling paint, like a southern belle who refuses to admit she's rotting. He pulls up slow. A white pickup idles near the barn, and 2 young white boys lean against it, laughing too loud. One flicks a cigarette into the dirt. They eye Elijah like he's roadkill that wandered too close. "Can I help you?" the taller one calls, smirking. "I'm here about the mare," Elijah replies evenly, stepping out. His voice is calm, but his gut tightens. Eyes follow him as he walks, not just curious, watchful. Like he doesn't belong here. Like he's trespassing on something sacred and spoiled. Inside, the barn smells of straw and sweat. Horses shuffle in their stalls, and a shadow moves deeper in the back. Huxley himself appears, wiping grease from his hands with a stained rag. His smile is thin and sharp. "Elijah Brooks," he drawls. "Didn't expect to see you." Something in the way he says it makes the hairs on Elijah's neck rise. "Just looking to make a deal," Elijah says. Huxley chuckles low, but it doesn't reach his eyes. "Funny. Sometimes a man comes looking for one thing," he gestures toward the back stall, grin widening, "and finds something else entirely." Elijah steps closer. The mare nickers softly, but something else, something muffled, stirs behind the wood. Something not right. And suddenly, he isn't so sure this was just a horse sale. Elijah takes a slow step toward the back of the barn, every instinct in his body humming like a warning bell. The mare is beautiful, sleek bay coat, wide dark eyes, but she shifts nervously in her stall, ears pinned back, snorting toward the far wall like she senses something Elijah can't yet see. Huxley moves to block his path, casual-like, but there's tension in the way his shoulders square. "Hell of a horse, ain't she?" he says. "Bred for speed, but she's skittish. Got a mean streak if you ain't careful." Elijah doesn't respond. His eyes flick past Huxley to the corner of the barn where shadows run deeper. Something's off. The air is too still, too heavy. And there it is again, that sound. Not the rustle of hay or the creak of old wood. Something softer. Human. A faint whimper. "What's back there?" Elijah asks, voice sharp now. Huxley's smile stays, but it twists. "Storage. Old tack. Busted gear. Ain't nothin' worth your time." But Elijah's already moving, slow but steady. He keeps his shoulders square, posture open. He's not looking for a fight. Not yet. But he knows the kind of man Huxley is, the kind who talks about good stock and keeping tradition, the kind who only calls you sir with a sneer under it. "Elijah," Huxley says, his voice turning harder. "You come on my land. You show respect. You got a question. You ask it proper." The barn feels smaller suddenly. The air tighter. Those boys outside have stopped laughing. He can feel their silence pressing in. Elijah stops just shy of the last stall. A faded tarp hangs over the entrance. The smell is stronger here, sweat, fear, something raw and metallic underneath. He reaches out. Huxley's boot thuds against the dirt behind him. Don't. It's not a suggestion. Elijah freezes. For a heartbeat, all he hears is his own breathing. Then, muffled and choked, a voice. Help me. Female. Fragile. Shaking. Elijah yanks the tarp aside. Inside the stall, crumpled in the straw like forgotten trash, is a woman. Black, mid-20s maybe. Wrists bound. Mouth gagged with a dirty rag. Eyes wide and swollen with fear. She stares at him like he's a mirage. Elijah's chest goes cold. What the hell is this? He growls. Huxley's grin vanishes. He steps closer, voice lowering. You don't know what you walked into, Brooks. Best turn around and forget you saw anything. But Elijah's eyes are locked on the woman.
She's bruised.
Shaking. Still breathing. Barely. This isn't a misunderstanding. This is a trap. And maybe he was the one meant to fall into it. Elijah doesn't move. Not right away. His brain is racing, but his face stays carved from stone. He kneels beside the woman, gently pulling the rag from her mouth. She flinches, eyes darting toward Huxley like a scared animal expecting another blow. It's all right, Elijah murmurs. You're safe now. But that's a lie. He's not sure either of them are. Huxley steps forward, voice low, almost friendly. Look, I know what this looks like. Elijah rises to his feet slowly, the woman's shallow breaths behind him. Then explain it. She's trouble, Huxley says, his smile slinking back like oil. Caught her snooping around, stealing tools. Broke into my truck. I was gonna call the sheriff. You tied her up like a dog? She attacked me, Huxley says. You know how they get. There it is.
They.
A single word, heavy with history. Elijah feels it in his bones. Every insult swallowed, every door closed, every time he's had to smile through clenched teeth so folks wouldn't see him as a problem. She got bruises, not a scratch on you, Elijah says. She's been here days. This ain't self-defense. This is kidnapping. She's a criminal, Huxley snaps. And if you don't get off my land, I'll make sure you look like one too. Outside, the boys start to move. Slow, deliberate steps. One of them, Colton Huxley, the older one, pulls something from his belt. A length of chain. Just visible enough to make a statement. You think anybody's gonna believe you? Huxley asks, stepping in close now, his breath sour with chew. You? A broke rancher with a chip on his shoulder? You think the sheriff's on your side? Elijah clenches his fists, but he doesn't swing. That's what Huxley wants, a reason to call it assault. A reason to paint this scene different. I don't need the sheriff, Elijah says coolly. I got a phone. He lifts it, already recording. The red blinks. Been blinking since he walked past the tarp. Huxley stiffens. Just for a second. Then he sneers. Delete it.
No.
Then you're trespassing. Elijah knows how fast things can turn in this county. Knows what happened to Isaiah Grant, pulled over for a busted taillight, didn't make it home. Knows what they did to his own father's store when he wouldn't sell cheap. But he also knows how to play the long game. He turns to the woman. What's your name? She licks cracked lips. Asha. Asha Lewis. You got family, Asha? My sister. Works at the gas station on County Road 7. He nods. We'll get you out of here. Huxley laughs. You're not walking out with her. Elijah doesn't answer. He lifts his phone higher, zooms in on Asha's wrists, the bruises, the rope burn, the hay-soaked gag on the ground. You touch me, Elijah says. This goes to every paper in the state. Behind him, Asha's voice trembles. He told me no one would believe me, that nobody'd come looking. Elijah stares at Huxley. He was wrong. The chain clinks again outside. The boys are watching, but something's shifted. Colton's grip isn't as tight. The younger one looks unsure, glancing at Asha, then back at his father. I'm leaving, Elijah says. With her. Huxley says nothing, but his jaw ticks. The calm is cracking. You'll regret this, he says finally, voice like poison. You don't know what kind of hell you just stirred up. Elijah helps Asha to her feet. I've lived in it my whole life, he replies. This time, I'm lighting the match. Elijah walks out of that barn with Asha leaning on him, her steps ragged, her face pale beneath the grime. The sunlight burns after the gloom, but he doesn't stop, just keeps walking, slow and steady toward his truck like gravity's pulling him home. Behind him, Huxley's voice rings out, thick with rage and confidence. You ain't talking her, Brooks. You step 1 foot off my property with that girl, and I'll have the sheriff so far up your ass, you'll forget how to spell your own damn name. The boys close in again, circling like coyotes. Colton's got the chain swinging loose in one hand, a grin curling under his lip. The younger one, Trey, hesitates near the fence, eyes flickering between his father and Elijah like he's seeing cracks in the foundation for the first time. Elijah opens the truck door slowly, easing Asha into the passenger seat. Then he turns and waits. Huxley storms forward, spit flying as he talks. You really think some beat-up girl's gonna ruin me? You think they're gonna listen to her? Or to you? You ain't got power out here, boy. I've been ranching this land since before you were born. I own this dirt. Elijah doesn't blink. You don't own people. She broke into my home. She's not a thief. She's a damn liar. His voice echoes through the dry air. The wind shifts. Dust curls around them like ghosts of old battles fought on this same soil. Colton steps forward, cocky, chain clinking. I say we call the sheriff now. He'll haul both of 'em out of here. Black folks causing trouble, same old story. You're right, Elijah says quietly, reaching into his jacket. That is the story they tell. He pulls out a flash drive, holds it between 2 fingers. And that's why I've got this. Huxley snorts. What, you recording a podcast? Elijah taps the drive. Security cam footage.
From your own barn.
Your own damn system. Huxley stiffens. I saw the camera when I walked in, Elijah continues. Snapped the hard drive casing when you were busy running your mouth. Pulled the memory chip. Full footage. Her tied up. You laughing about it. Talking about how nobody'd care. The smirk dies on Colton's face. Trey steps back. Huxley lunges, but Elijah is faster. He lifts his phone again. Live video still running, the blinking red light glowing like judgment. Try it, Elijah says coldly. You'll be famous by morning. You're bluffin'. Elijah tilts his head. Then call my bluff. Silence. Asha shifts inside the truck, pulling the seatbelt across her trembling frame. She looks at Huxley through the windshield. No fear now, just disgust. You think that badge you brag about down at the feed store makes you untouchable? Elijah says. But you forgot something, Huxley. You forgot times change. Folks record. And some of us? We don't scare easy anymore. For a beat, no one moves. Then Elijah adds, voice low and final. Your land don't make you God. And today, it won't make you innocent either. He climbs into the truck, starts the engine. Huxley stands frozen, fury and fear boiling in his gut, watching everything unravel. And Elijah? He drives away, with Asha alive, and the evidence ready. Elijah doesn't sleep that night. He drops Asha off at the urgent care clinic an hour away, someplace quiet, with nurses who don't ask too many questions. She clutches his hand before she goes in, her voice still hoarse. Don't let him get away with it, he promises. By dawn, the footage is already in the hands of 3 people: his cousin Nia, a civil rights attorney in Atlanta, Deputy Marcus Bell, the only black deputy in the county who walks a tightrope daily, and a reporter Elijah trusts from the Union Ledger, the kind who smells blood and doesn't back down. By noon, the video hits social media. Huxley's face, clear as day, leaning over Asha, taunting her. His voice, ain't nobody gonna save you. Nobody listens to liars. Her bound hands. The bruises. Her cries. The internet explodes. By 3 p.m., local news vans swarm the county line like buzzards. Reporters shove microphones at neighbors who suddenly remember strange noises, and a weird feeling about that family. Folks who've been nodding along with Huxley's poison for years now pretend they were always uncomfortable. The sheriff tries to get ahead of it, calls it a disturbing situation under investigation. But the damage is done. Huxley's face is everywhere. And his power? Cracking. Elijah parks across from the sheriff's office, arms folded as Huxley is let out in cuffs, red-faced and roaring like a cornered dog. This is a setup. That video's fake. You people always playing victim. Marcus Bell keeps his hand firm on Huxley's arm, expression stone cold. You'll get your day in court. Just like she will. Reporters shout questions. Cameras flash. And Huxley finally sees it. The tide has turned. His empire, built on bluster and silence, is crumbling. Elijah doesn't move. Just watches as Huxley is stuffed into the back of a cruiser like the trash he is. That evening, a surprise press conference is called. Asha, standing beside her sister, speaks through tears. He said no one would come, that no one would care. But someone did. And now I know I matter. Her words go viral. Donations pour in for Asha's recovery. Huxley's past starts bleeding into the open, a lawsuit from a Latina worker he fired without cause. A buried police report from 2016. A string of missing items swept under the rug. Every skeleton dragged into the daylight. By morning, his ranch is surrounded by protesters. By nightfall, a for sale sign appears at the end of his long, dusty drive. Elijah's phone rings off the hook. Lawyers, reporters, activists. But he doesn't answer. Instead, he walks to the edge of his own land, looks out over the brittle fields and broken fences, and breathes.
He did it.
He lit the match. And for once, justice didn't just flicker. It roared. The auction sign goes up before the paint's dry on the for sale board. It's a spectacle. Neighbors slowing their trucks to stare. Folks who once toasted whiskey with Huxley now pretending they never liked him. His livestock's been seized by the county. His accounts frozen. His name dragged through every courtroom, every newscast, every diner booth gossip chain. By the time the trial date drops, he's already lost everything. And Elijah? He's planting seeds again. The soil's still tough, too dry, too scarred, but something in him believes this time, something will grow. It's the morning after the county holds its first community forum on racial justice. Elijah didn't speak. He didn't have to. The image of him leading Asha out of that barn played on a loop behind every conversation. And when the sheriff stepped down for personal reasons, no one missed the irony. Now, the same men who once muttered, "You're overreacting," when Elijah mentioned racism, now nod slowly when he walks by, some out of shame, others out of self-preservation. But a few meet his eyes with something new. Respect. Maybe even remorse. He finds Asha sitting on the tailgate of his truck, her sister nearby. She's healing, still thin, still quiet, but there's color back in her cheeks. Strength returning to her spine. "You good?" Elijah asks. She nods. "Better than I thought I'd be." They sit in silence a while, the sun dipping low across the land. The golden hour. The peace hour. "I didn't think anyone would come," she says softly. Elijah glances at her. "I almost didn't." "Why did you?" He exhales. "Because I've been overlooked too. I've seen what silence does. And I knew if I walked away, you might disappear. Just like others have." Her eyes shine, but she doesn't cry. She just places a hand on his, steady and grateful. "You saved my life, Elijah." "No," he says, voice low. "I just gave you room to save your own." She smiles. They both look out over the hills, where the sun kisses every blade of grass like an apology. That weekend, Elijah's barn fills, not with cattle, but with community. People bring tools. Paint. New lumber. They help repair what drought and time have taken. Even Trey Huxley shows up, awkward and quiet, dragging a bag of feed and guilt behind him. "Don't expect thanks," Elijah says, arms crossed. "I don't," Trey replies. "I just wanted to do something different than my old man." Elijah watches him a moment, then steps aside. "Then get to it." By evening, The ranch smells of fresh hay and barbecue. Kids run between fence posts. Laughter drifts up like smoke. And Elijah? He sits on the porch with Asha and her sister, the stars blinking alive overhead. You know, Asha says, sipping sweet tea, this place feels different now. He looks out over his land, his home. Yeah, he says, voice thick. Feels like it matters again. The past didn't disappear. The wounds are still deep. But justice? Justice showed up. And this time it stayed.